What's the first thing that you analyze when you play a game? For some people, it's the gameplay, for others, it's the graphics, while others just look at the expanded universe or how many quests and side missions they can play. The idea is that everyone judges a game according to their favorite feature. Well, I judge a game because of its story. Yeah, graphics, gameplay, they are all quite important. But for me, what's the key to a great successful game? It's the story, I think. Because actually, it's the story that catches you in a way that is similar with a very good movie that you are watching. A movie that you cannot stop until you finish, or a TV show. And if you think about that, then what kind of game would you pick? Well, in my case, I would just pick Assassin's Creed 2 together with its sequel, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And I will tell you why. Because these games have survived the test of time. They are considered classics. They were universally acclaimed by fans and critics alike. And they are still played today quite a lot, including by your presenter right here. But why are Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood so appreciated by the gamers? Well, let's explore it together. Reason 1: great writers. So for Assassin's Creed 2, Corey May was the leading writer behind the game, also behind Brotherhood. May is a Harvard graduate, and he is also known to have worked on other games before, most notably the Prince of Persia series, where he was also lead writer for most of their initial games, uh, also developed by Ubisoft. Then we have Joshua Rubin and Jeffrey Hallam. They were the other writers involved in the development of Assassin's Creed 2. A graduate in fictional writing, Joshua would later work on highly successful Game of Thrones games, while Jeffrey Rubin worked on Tomb Raider before joining Ubisoft. So, yeah, great writers with some pretty great experience and with Ivy League education. What else could you want? Um, but what else except the writers? Well, I think you can hear it, no? Let's talk about the music. The music is really great in these games. You didn't have to believe me. Just listen. Or you can just check the other songs too. I picked this one because it's the one that I can remember without a problem even after 10 years since I last played the game. Now let's go forward. Another reason is that Assassin's Creed, especially Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, uh, you are you are presented with a story that encompasses the biggest life themes. Um, so let's go back a bit to the lead writer. So when May was asked about his inspiration for the Assassin's Creed series, he had the following response. It came from a lot of different sources, from a lot of different people. Once I came on board, there were two things that inspired me when I approached it. The first one was the Ultima series of games because it was one of the first franchises, at least for me, that went beyond the idea of forces that are good and forces that are evil. End of quote. So, we know that in both games, basically you have the development of the story of Ezio Auditore and how he grows up to a small noble family in Florence. And the greatest thing about Assassin's Creed 2 and about Ezio's story is that then you have topics like love, honesty, morality, coming of age, conflict, peace, art, you name it. Those are just the ones that came into my mind right now. But if you check the game, you could see and find another amazing topics, even in the side quests. And the way the game is dealing with those topics is not necessarily painted like a fight between right and evil. Everything is very loose in both Assassin's Creed games 2 and Brotherhood. I mean, of course, you have two sides. Yeah, no, we have the Templars, the bad guys, and the Assassins. In theory, the good guys. But both sides, even though in the beginning we know that the Assassins are a force of good, uh, we later find out that both sides also commit terrible things, murder being the common uh, denominator for both sides. Um, Even the assassins, they use prostitutes and they train thieves to benefit their needs. So yeah, basically the game writers chose this path in which they deal with every topic from a perspective that deals with people truly as they are. You know, there is not any person in this world that could say that, look, I am purely good or I am purely evil. I think we are all a mix of good and evil, and during our lives we just do either more good, either more evil. But we always have to confront both our light and dark sides, if you want. Because we always have challenges in our day-to-day life when we don't know how to react. Now going back to Ezio, when you start, as you go mission by mission, you see that he's a very young idealist. But as you go on and Ezio basically eliminates his enemies, he's forced to adapt to a more pragmatic approach to life. Reason number 3. Stories within stories worth playing. Let's talk a bit about other Assassin's Creed game. Do you remember Unity and the hype that was created before the game was launched? And then everyone was disappointed after the launch because it was full of bugs, and yeah, people also criticized the story. They said it's too short, that the story is too boring, and basically that um, the game doesn't enjoy a great legacy even today. Even if the game has some really great uh, and fantastic gameplay, and the story, while it is short and simple, I doubt it's the worst that we saw in uh, in the Assassin's Creed games. I mean, in Assassin's Creed 2 and in Brotherhood, every story is interesting because they um, they're unique. Even the side missions, you can relate to it, to every story. And just to give you an example, do you remember the side stories that you do in Brotherhood about Christina, the first love of Ezio? Those were really cool stories. Or the story where you had to go to Naples and destroy the naval shipyard of Cesare. That's pretty unique stuff. Unfortunately, in the sequel series in Unity and Syndicate, because they put the gameplay and the graphics before the development of the characters and stories, we got really boring and repetitive stories. So even when you have a really great historical character like Marx in Syndicate, the story is so simplistic and you just feel that you're losing your time and your interest in the game right away. Probably that's the reason why Syndicate doesn't have such a good legacy among Assassin's Creed fans. But who knows, maybe I'm mistaken on this one. Anyway, those are the three reasons why I would say that Assassin's Creed 2 and sequel Brotherhood are the best. At least the best written games that I know. And just keep in mind that I didn't play all of them, so I know that some of you would say things like Knight of the Old Republic, it's the best written game with the best story. Or maybe Mass Effect. Could be. I don't know. Yeah. Let me know what you think. Cheers.